Dylan met Ngozi at a corporate event, the kind filled with wine glasses, suits, and empty promises. But she wasn't like the others. Ngozi was radiant, intelligent, and completely self-made, a respected branch manager of one of the leading banks. Dylan, a rising football star, was used to fans and flings, but this was different. Conversations turned to laughter, laughter turned to calls, and before long, they had been together for 2 solid years. One evening, seated on the balcony under the warm night sky, Ngozi asked him the dreaded question. "Dylan, where is this relationship going?" He hesitated, the weight of his past bearing down on his chest. "I love you, Ngozi, but I can't legally marry you. I've seen what marriage did to my colleagues, women changing overnight, turning love into leverage. I don't want to end up like them." He went on to say she could have his child, he trusted her to be a good mother, but marriage, that was off the table. Ngozi's heart broke right there. She stared into the night, quietly realizing that no matter how much she loved him, her dreams couldn't live in the shadow of his fears. "Then this has to end," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Because that's not what I want." And just like that, they parted ways, not with anger, but with a silent ache that both tried to ignore. Less than 2 years later, Ngozi met Abina, a suave billionaire entrepreneur. He was persistent, polished, and persuasive. He gave her what she thought Dylan couldn't: commitment. They got married within months. To the world, she had won. But behind the designer gowns and diamond rings, a darker truth brewed. At first, the signs were subtle. Abina would be lost in thought, distracted during conversations. Then came the late nights, the missing wedding ring, the bruised excuses. When she confronted him, the shouting turned into shoving. The shoving soon turned into slaps. It became routine. He never apologized, only bought her silence with gifts. For 2 years, Ngozi endured. Her younger sister, Amaka, couldn't stand it. She knew the fire Ngozi once had, and what it had become: a flicker beneath fear. One day, Amaka secretly reached out to Dylan. "She's suffering, Dylan. You let her go," and she walked into fire. Dylan was devastated. He had always followed Ngozi's success from afar, telling himself she was happy. But now, everything changed. He tried reaching out to her, but Ngozi refused. "You don't get to show up now," she said bitterly. "If you had married me, none of this would have happened." Then came the turning point. Ngozi had just received another brutal beating. Bruised and limping, she drove to the pharmacy to get first aid supplies. As fate would have it, she ran into Dylan literally. He was driving past, saw her, and slammed his brakes. She tried to walk away quickly, but Dylan, still fit and fast, caught up. "Ngozi, why are you running? What happened to you?" She tried to hide her face, but he gently removed her sunglasses. What he saw broke him: purple bruises around her eye and a bleeding lip. "You're divorcing him, tonight." She didn't reply, just sobbed. He took her to his home, called his lawyer, and demanded immediate divorce proceedings. He even sent her car a gift from Abina back to her husband, saying she would need nothing that came from pain. Ngozi was torn. Her mind raced with fears. What would people say? Would this become tabloid drama? Would Abina retaliate? But another part of her, the part still burning, felt relief. Abina fought back, of course. When he learned she filed for divorce, he threatened to drag her name through the mud. He demanded custody of their child. But Dylan stood firm. And when Ngozi chose to not demand a share of Abina's wealth, both men were stunned. "If I rose to the top before any of you, I can rise again. I don't need anyone's sweat or blood money," she declared in court. The judge ruled in her favor. She got full custody of the child. Abina lost. In the months that followed, Dylan never pushed her. He offered her peace, not pressure. He helped her heal. He helped her rebuild. Whether he married her or not wasn't the point anymore. Love was no longer something she begged for. It was something she chose. In time, Dylan adopted her son as his own, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Ngozi, once bruised